This is the plaintiff, Taylor Miller. She says she was driving her Lexus, and when she made a left turn at a green light, the defendant made a right-hand turn right into her and damaged her car. The defendant refused to turn over her insurance papers and license, so she had the cops track it down for her. The defendant has no insurance, and she's here suing her for the $1,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Alexis Iverson. She says she heard a honking horn as she was making a right turn, and then, boom, the plaintiff crashed into her. The plaintiff turned into her lane. The accident was her fault. And if anyone's owed money today, it's not the plaintiff. She's accused of causing a crash. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $400 for car repairs.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says she was driving legally and was going to make a left turn in the proper lane. Then all of a sudden, the defendant crashed into her from the opposite direction. But the defendant says the plaintiff was the one who crashed into her and she's the victim. It's the case of I'm the lefty.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Miller, you are suing Ms. Iverson for $1,000, the deductible that your insurance company charged you.
Yes.
Based on an accident the two of you had. You're counterclaiming against her $400 for the damages that you're out for the same accident. You say it's her fault. You say it's her fault.
Yes.
All right, let me hear from you first.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. On April 25th, I was getting off of the expressway going from Indiana. And as I was getting off, I was making a left turn, and my light was green when I went into the intersection. And it's a pretty wide intersection, and the light turned yellow midway. So there's like the first light here, and then the next one, the middle light. And when I went in the intersection, I had a green arrow, and by the time I was midway through my turn, it turned to a yellow arrow.
Okay, are there two lights that you're seeing?
Yes, it's one like right where you stop at, and
Okay.
then there's another one midway.
Okay.
So as I was exiting, completing my turn, I was turning into the middle lane on Torrance. There's 3 lanes on that street. And as I was turning into the middle lane, I saw the defendant out of my peripheral, like coming close to me. So I'm honking the horn, and I get over into the far left lane to avoid the accident. But she kept coming and then ended up hitting the front passenger side of my vehicle.
Okay. What happens after the accident?
I put the car in park, get out, look at the damage, take photos of it, and just in case I didn't want it to be a hit and run incident, I took pictures of her plates. And then she was kind of sitting in the car, like didn't want to get out or something. And then when she finally rolls the window down, I say, can we just pull over at the gas station on the corner, Citgo, to exchange info? So we pull up over there, and I pull up probably like right here in very deep into the gas station, and she kind of pulls up barely in the gas station. And so I was like, okay, I don't think she wants to exchange information with me. So I just called the police, and then they came, got my input, her input, and they gave us like the insurance information.
Okay. You tell me, how did that accident happen?
I was turning off of the highway onto Torrance Avenue. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the directions right now. But I was going home. I was coming home from door dashing. I tend to do DoorDash sometimes, so on my way home.
You mean work as the person who delivers for DoorDash?
Yes.
Okay.
On my way home, I decided to stop at Walmart, so I got off at that exit, and I'm not sure if you can pull up the pictures, but at that exit, there's 2 right lanes. I was in the leftmost lane to turn.
Uh-huh.
And my light turned green.
This seems like a really busy intersection. Are there like expressways up and then roads down? So we're looking at 2 levels when I'm looking at this map?
Yes.
Wow. All right. Okay, so you're making a right, and what color is the light?
Green.
Okay.
I didn't go until it was green.
Is it possible to make a right on red in that, or is it legal to make a right on red in that spot?
No.
Okay. So according to you, your light is green and you're making a right, and what happens?
The plaintiff says the defendant refused to turn her license over to her or her insurance papers, and she needed the cops to track it down for her. Now, the defendant says she's the one who's owed money today and filed a countersuit because the plaintiff crashed into her. Let's listen.
As I was almost finished completing my turn.
Were you the first car?
Yes.
Okay.
There was someone else turning with me in the toward.
In the lane next to you? Mm-hmm. Okay, to your right?
Yes.
Okay, and then what happens?
I was about 95% done with my turn when I just heard honking, and then boom, to my driver's side.
Front driver's side. All right. And so you were both trying to get into the same lane?
I was trying to get into the far left.
Far left lane. And from where you were, the right turn that you're making,
It goes into the middle.
it goes into the middle. So you're trying to get into the far left, and then she then beeps, and you guys end up hitting.
Yes.
All right. Do me a favor. I would like you to come first, because I'm in the middle of your story. Grab a car to be you. Take a look at, this is Torrance. Are you on Torrance and you're going to make a right on I-80, or how does this work?
I was coming off of I-80, so
You're coming off, so you'd be on this side. You're coming off of I-80, and there's 2 lanes going this way?
Yes.
Okay, so this is you. Tell me what happens.
So my light turned green,
Okay.
so I began to go.
Uh-huh.
And so right when I was like right here, right before the lanes started to form, when the intersection was just blank, that's when I heard the beeping.
Right. But you're supposed to go here, but you're going here?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was trying to get to the far left.
All right, so you're trying to get to the far left, and then you don't see her, you just hear the horns, and you hear this. And then there's an accident, right? Go ahead and go back. Can I have you come forward? And you tell me from your perspective. So this is you over here,
Yes.
right? And then you're making a left.
Yes.
So go ahead, make your left, and then she's here.
She was here.
Right, that's right.
And so this lane was turning into this. I see her coming. I get over, honk, 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 bam.
That's not so different, huh? Why do you feel it's her fault?
Because for me, my light was still yellow, and there's 3 signs over there that say no turn on red. And although it says that, I know a lot of people are still turning on red on that street.
Not usually the people who are in the second lane, though, right? Like they're really exposed. I'm more concerned. Do you think it's your fault?
I honestly don't remember that night. I don't remember what.
Do you feel like maybe if there are 2 lanes and there are 2 lanes you're supposed to go into, that maybe it's not the best move to try to get into the other lane
Yes.
at that very tight moment?
Yes, it was my ignorance because it's normal for people to turn from the left lane into the other far right lane on Torrance like that, just to make it easier. I've seen people do that, but I didn't look, and my car is low to the ground, so I didn't see her coming.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff says the defendant had no insurance at the time of the crash, which is illegal, and she wants her $1,000. But the defendant says if anyone is owed money today, it's her and not the plaintiff. Let's see how the judge feels.
I should have looked. I don't have a defense.
Okay, well, that was swift. On your lawsuit against her, you're out $1,000 on the deductible, correct?
Yes.
I'm ruling in your favor in the $1,000. And in your lawsuit against her for your damages, based on the testimony, I have to rule against you. That's my verdict, and good luck, ladies. I'm glad it wasn't worse, right? That's why they call it an accident. All right, take care, folks.
Thank you.
Both sides, ladies, hold on right there, please.
So, in a case that was really rather brief, the plaintiff wins. The defendant does not prevail in this case. She's on her way out of the courtroom. Her name is Ms. Iverson. And Ms. Iverson, let me ask you a very simple question. You were one of the few litigants who's ever said in the People's Court, I don't have any defense. You were very honest. Good for you. What are you thinking?
I don't want to lollygag. I'm not here to waste time, so.
And
That's
it's
all I have to
interesting,
say.
you said to the judge, there's something you don't remember. How can you not remember?
That's
really
honestly
don't
a
remember?
big intersection. I mean, I remember how it is. I know how it looks. But I just don't remember exactly the events leading up to the accident that night. I had just put it behind me. I didn't have enough time to make an actual case with actual evidence.
If you had no defense, why didn't you just pay her and avoid coming to court altogether?
I didn't know that she even had all that going on. She said that she
Really?
couldn't contact me, but I mean, it was just an anxiety attack. And I did call 911 as well, so.
All right. Well, listen, at least you're honest. No defense. Good for you. And the judge found against you. No surprise. Okay. All right, Ms. Miller. This is pretty simple. Easy for you. Did you think it was going to be this easy?
I did not. I expected some pushback, but I'm glad she was honest.
Yeah, that happens very rarely. So you'll get the $1,000, and is that sufficient to fix your car? Will you
Yes.
be all right now?
Yeah, finally can get it fixed, so I'm happy about that.
Well, listen, accidents are no fun, but I hope things go better and you don't have this happen again. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you. You're welcome. All right, Harvey, that's a rare one. The defendant says, I have no defense. We don't have that very often, do we?
So, Doug, this is interesting. So it is illegal to drive without insurance, but if you get in a car accident, that has no bearing on who wins a lawsuit because insurance does not go to who was driving negligently. And that is the North Star when it comes to the judge figuring out who caused the crash and who should get money. Insurance, you need it, but it doesn't prove you were negligent.
Judges always ask for a police report. What do you do if the police refuse to come? Also, I've seen where people can't get the report. Then what do you do?
Then you just work without the police report. But sometimes a police report can be very instructive because people will say the truth then, and once they have a chance to think about it and how it might cost them money, all of a sudden the truth takes a different color. So I'd like to see what the officer says the person said on the spot. Also, sometimes the officer will draw a map of where the cars ended up if the cars weren't moved, and I get the benefit of seeing that.
Car accidents.
Yeah, in
definitely.
car accidents.
And in some instances, if you don't get a police response and they don't come to the scene, and you're like, well, I got to have a police report, you can go to the nearest police station in the area and you can self-report and say how
Yeah,
you
and when you do that, it's a lot less probative, isn't it? Because it usually happens a few days later. You've had a chance to reflect. It's not. It's not the same as an officer being out there and taking everybody's statements raw.
No.
But sometimes that just can't be healthy. Either the police won't come out or they don't write a report over it, and then it just is what it is. But a judge wants as much information as possible in order to make a decision. So if there is a report, we'll always want to look at the report.
Right, and then you'll want to look at the report in a typical small claims action. But if you have a lawsuit that involves a traffic accident, in some states, who got the ticket, which is tantamount to what did the police report say, is not really admissible at the trial because, I mean, after all, oh, you got the ticket, I win. No, not exactly.
No, and as it shouldn't be because as a judge, you have to make an independent determination.
Right, and the police are not infallible. They could get
and most times they weren't there when it happened.
Right.
So they didn't see, but they may end up hearing the story and deciding I'm going to give a careless driving ticket to this person.
It looks like you hit that guy in the rear. You get the ticket.
There you go.
And the end of the story, but there could be more to the story.